Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we are digging into a massive, fundamental shift in the very fabric of our digital world. You know, for decades, we thought of the internet as this bustling, virtual city of human beings interacting, reading, shopping, and sharing. But what if I told you the underlying demographics of the internet have secretly shifted right under our noses?
It all boils down to one simple question. Who is actually reading the internet? Sounds pretty basic, right? Since the dawn of the World Wide Web, publishers, advertisers, and platform builders could all operate on one very safe, very foundational assumption, that the entity on the other end of a web request was a living, breathing person. But as we're about to see, that long-held assumption is unraveling fast.
Section 1. The invisible majority.
Okay, let's dive into this, because the reality of who, or rather what, is consuming the internet right now is honestly staggering. We are officially reaching a tipping point where humans are no longer the main users of the web. Here's a jump scare of a data point for you. According to Imperva's 2026 Bad Bot Report, which drew on 2025 traffic data across thousands of domains, 53% of measured web traffic was generated by bots. That leaves just 47% for us humans. And look, this isn't some weird one-off fluke. This marks the second consecutive year that automated traffic has flat-out outnumbered human activity. Back in 2024, it was 51%. It's official, we are now the minority.
Now, you might be looking at other reports and seeing different numbers. For instance, data from Cloudflare in June 2026 showed 65% humans to 35% bots. So is somebody wrong here? Actually, no. Cloudflare is just measuring a broader, more neutral cross-section of the entire internet. Security vendors like Imperva, on the other hand, focus heavily on the application layer surfaces they defend. Think login pages, checkout flows, APIs, basically the places where bots love to congregate. But regardless of which slice of the pie you measure, both of these highly reputable figures point to a massive, undeniable, and rapidly growing bot presence.
Section 2. Counting the bots.
So, if non-human entities are generating up to half of all internet traffic, we really need to investigate exactly who they are. And the composition of this automated traffic has changed dramatically over just the last 2 years. We've got the usual suspects, of course. The web has always had traditional bots, search engine crawlers indexing pages for Google, uptime monitors making sure sites don't crash, security scanners, and yes, that persistent layer of malicious bots trying to steal passwords or scrape data. But frankly, compared to what's happening now, those feel like the good old days. Because a brand new category of AI traffic has entered the ecosystem, and it is completely rewriting the rules.
Section 3. The AI traffic explosion.
7,851%. Just let that number sink in for a second. We aren't talking about a gradual, steady increase in automated traffic. According to a massive analysis of over 1 quadrillion interactions by human security, this is exactly how much agentic AI traffic grew year over year in 2025. And agentic AI doesn't just scrape data to train models in the background. These are bots acting autonomously on behalf of users, browsing, retrieving, and taking actions on the open web. It's an absolute explosion of machine activity without any human precedent.
And it gets wilder when you look at who is actually driving this massive scale of AI web engagement. Based on Cloudflare's verified traffic volume, Anthropic's crawlers are now the second largest bot operator on the entire internet. They are sitting right behind Google and ahead of legacy tech giants like Meta and OpenAI. The sheer, overwhelming volume of traffic these AI companies are generating just to read the web is absolutely staggering.
Section 4. The referral problem.
Now here is where the narrative shifts to a pretty chilling consequence for content creators. Because it's not just about how much these bots read, it's about how this new AI structure interacts with web content entirely. So the crucial point is understanding the crawl-to-referral ratio. Simply put, this is the number of pages a crawler visits for every one human visitor it actually sends back to the website. If you're a publisher or creator, this is the most important metric in the world. It tells you whether the bots reading your hard work are actually driving any human value back to your business.
The numbers here are just jaw-dropping. For years, Google's ratio has set comfortably around 5 to 1, meaning for every 5 pages Googlebot crawls, it sends roughly 1 human visitor back through its search results. It's a trade-off, right? But look at the AI assistants. Perplexity reads 186 pages before sending back 1 visitor. OpenAI reads 848. And Anthropic? Their crawlers read a mind-boggling 4,580 pages for every single visitor returned. The AI reads the content, summarizes the answer directly in a chat interface for the user, and the original publisher gets absolutely nothing.
And this brilliantly illustrates the real economic threat we're talking about. Let's put this into perspective. Imagine shopping for a new camera. A human shopper visits maybe 5 websites, reads some reviews, compares prices, and generates 5 valuable page views that help keep those websites in business. Now, tell an AI agent to find you the best camera. It might scour 5,000 websites in a matter of seconds to build its recommendation, but it generates 0 actual page views for the creators who went to the trouble of writing those reviews. The human value is entirely extracted by the machine.
Section 5. Breaking the attention economy.
To really understand the danger here, we have to contextualize these new AI crawlers within the larger, ongoing collapse of the traditional web advertising model. Because the truth is, the system was already under severe pressure way before AI even came along. First, social platforms aggregated our attention, keeping us locked inside their walled gardens. Then, mobile apps shifted our time away from the open web entirely. After that, search engines started answering queries directly on the results page, creating this whole zero-click environment. AI isn't some isolated event that suddenly broke the web. It's a devastating accelerator operating at a massive, unprecedented scale on a bridge that was, quite frankly, already crumbling.
What this has created is essentially 2 parallel internets. On one hand, there's the visible internet, the one you and I experience when we click a link, watch a video, or read an article. Everything looks totally normal. But operating right behind it is the invisible internet, a massive, machine-to-machine, dark forest of automated systems reading, indexing, retrieving, and responding to content at light speed, completely unobserved by the human reader.
Section 6. The bot-to-bot horizon.
Let's move ahead and see how this builds across the timeline. We really have to look at the immediate future of the internet as these agentic AI systems become the new normal. Cloudflare CEO Matthew Prince noted that prior to the generative AI era, bot traffic sat at a pretty stable baseline of roughly 20%. Then, boom, we jumped to 51% in 2024 and 53% in 2025. The future heading our way requires an entirely new infrastructure. We are rapidly moving toward a world of machine-readable formats and automated micropayment mechanisms, just to facilitate AI systems acting on our behalf.
And that forces us to ask a really profound question. What happens when servers are just talking to servers? Like, what does the internet even look like when a substantial portion of all browsing is performed by AI agents retrieving content from servers that are, themselves, increasingly automated and AI-generated? We're essentially building an ecosystem where machines are simultaneously the primary creators and the primary consumers.
I want to leave you with this final, powerful thought, directly from our source material. The web was built for human readers. For 30 years, that was the unquestioned truth. But as we navigate this wild, new, bot-dominated reality, we have to seriously question our own place in this rapidly automating digital landscape. If the web is no longer primarily for us, who is it for, and how will human creators survive in it? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this sparked your curiosity and gave you a whole new lens to view the digital world. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll see you next time.